Hello, today we are in Southern California doing a class at the Orange County Sheriff's Training Center. And we met an officer who had an unusual situation dealing with something called swatting and social media. Now, swatting is something, unfortunately, we're hearing more and more about. That is when a person calls in a fake report to police and then waits and watches to see how the SWAT team responds. And often the swatter is out there videotaping it and putting it on YouTube. Now, the police had a unique way of handling this particular case and a very creative way of using the social media.
It was day shift, weekday. I was the day shift watch commander. My partner, Lieutenant Neil Griffin, out of the investigations division, was PIO that day. He's our designated PIO. We received a phone call, cell phone call, from a reporting party that stated that a male armed with a long rifle of some type wearing a black trench coat was seen entering the north side of the school of Escondido High School, which is one of four major high schools in our town, has about 2,500 students, so large campus, large student body. Call came through our dispatch center. The information seemed credible, and obviously as the watch commander, you have to decide how you're going to respond to that report. And in today's day and age, you can't under-respond in my estimation, so basically we did not 1199, but we did we call it an all-skate, but got on to all of our on-duty personnel, detectives, any sworn personnel that were obviously in the field working or in the station working to respond to the school to start our response. Also nice being day shift was that the PIO was there. The captains were immediately informed of the call, and so we had a command level response to the media, setting up an immediate media rally point, and then also a rally point for the parents who, of course, would be responding to the school. So as watch commander, I went ahead and responded directly to the school and kind of set up a tactical command area inside the school administrative offices on campus. And that was kind of nice, only from the standpoint that I was directly next to the school principal, their staff. They, of course, had all the school rosters of who was there that day, what classrooms they were supposed to be in, who the teachers were. They had phone contact with almost all of the classrooms, or had the ability to go phone contact with all the classrooms, so that was nice. Also, the school, like many modern schools, had the big 8-foot fence, perimeter fence all the way around it, so it insulated me from having to deal directly with the public or the media as tactical commander, so that part was nice for me. Very rapidly, during the incident, we started receiving phone calls to the school, to our dispatch center from parents and concerned citizens who had received reports from students inside the school who had since turned on their cell phone and were making phone calls notifying family members that something was going on at the school. Everything from the SWAT team is here to we heard there was students shot on campus. So we started having to try to control that flow of information and try to put out as much accurate information as we could right away. So working with the principal, Rich Watkins, he made me aware that the school has a Twitter feed. And we were able to get accurate information out immediately on the school's Twitter feed to parents who were signed up to that feed. So even before the media showed up en masse, and we were given the opportunity to get that information out through the media, we were able to get it out through the school's Twitter account, and then in turn we put that on our Twitter page and our Facebook from the police department. So that was very, very helpful to us to reach the parents directly, because we could put it up on our website or our Twitter feed or our Facebook, but if you're not a fan or you don't follow us or whatever, you're not going to get that information as rapidly as you would through the school source. So that was very, very helpful. We still, despite our best efforts, had a lot of parents respond to the school, and later in the event, kind of as we were going code 4 with that, they started flooding the school. They still wanted to take their kids out of school, even though as Neil covered earlier, that we, towards the end of the incident, determined it was a swatting event or a false call. But that didn't affect our response until we ran that all the way down ourselves, checking every classroom and making sure that everybody was accounted for.
I'm Neil Griffin. I'm the primary press information officer for the Escondido Police Department. And if you don't know, we're the first city inland of San Diego on the north side. Department of about 155 sworn. Like Jimmy said, this was a call that came in early one morning. What we found out afterwards is it was a student that was across the street that was filming our response. And yes, it turned out to be a really outstanding training event is what it turned out to be. Very real time, very real life. As far as the media goes, we wanted to keep we do have the benefit of about a 15-minute buffer from Fox, NBC, ABC, all of them. We don't have a North County media other than a couple of pretty hardcore stringers in our own local paper. So we get a good 20 minutes before the media can really descend on us, but they did come out for this one. But we had set up a media response area approximately 200 yards south of the school. We had another area for parents that was separate from that, so we didn't have to concern ourselves with the parents or with the media bothering the parents or trying to take the story in a different direction. The media was respectful of the fact that for a good hour or two we thought we might have a shooter on the campus. They waited for information. We cleared it up pretty quickly, Jimmy, 75 minutes or so probably. About an hour and 15 minutes we were pretty certain that this had been a hoax. And that's the information we started to put out, that we had not located a shooter, that there was no shooters found on the school, that there were no injuries, that the students were being reunited with their parents. School wasn't formally canceled that day, but I think about half the students did leave the campus.
The majority of kids have access to cell phones, and a lot of those are smartphones, so they have the ability to post their own video, update their own Facebook pages, put stuff on YouTube. So we have to embrace that technology is on campus, and we have to be able to respond to it. And again, it generated its own problem on our call where the kids were reporting erroneous information about kids being shot on campus, people being dead, those types of things. So we had to get ahead of that information and start putting out good information to the public. And I don't know that we're ever going to be able to contain that. I mean, kids are going to take their phones to school and they're going to turn them on when they're not supposed to. And so our task will be to address that and see how we can get out in front of that and be the single source of information for the public and not the third rail stuff that's going to come as a result of that.
Oh, I don't think there's a downside to a police department having Twitter accounts. Now, we probably only have, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 followers, but in terms of traffic issues, cases like this, checkpoints, we had a 290 registrant cut his GPS device off a week or so ago. We were kind of inundated with a lot of bogus information, but it's also a great way to get out really real-time public information, so I don't think there's a downside to it.